Alrighty. Happy Sunday, everybody. I didn't get around to filming my nursing school budget video this weekend because the guy I was dating, I had to take him to the airport yesterday so he could go home, and then today I spent all day at the beach, so I look really weird at that angle. My head looks like really long. But yeah, so today I went to the bay with my mom and some of her friends, and I got a little bit of color. My sides are really burnt, but I decided I would go ahead and just do a live video of my budget. I did write everything out. So before I started school, I was in my first long-term relationship. We were together for like 5 years. And we had lived together for 2 or 3 years, and he was constantly bouncing jobs. So before I started nursing school, I was working 2 jobs as a CNA, 7 to 3 and then 3 to 11. So I wasn't getting home until 11:30, midnight sometimes, depending on when the next shift came on. And, when they clocked in to come to work. So people are so annoying. Why are y'all texting me? So, yeah. No one wants to text me until I start filming. So, I totally lost my train of thought now. Oh, so I was working I'm getting really frustrated. So, I was working the 2 jobs because my ex before my previous ex was just constantly bouncing jobs. And I picked up 2 jobs so that I knew that I had my bills paid. So, my rent was $600. Cable, it recently went up, but I'm paying $189. So, my power bill was about $130. Phone bill was $47 because I'm with Straight Talk at Walmart. And my car insurance was $111. I didn't have a car payment at that time because the car that I was driving, my Honda, it was paid for. It was like a 1995. My mom bought it for me off of Craigslist as a gift. So I didn't have a car payment to worry about. I just had to upkeep on the maintenance, and that was great until Christmas Eve of 2013. I got hit by a drunk driver, and it totaled my car, and I ended up spinning out in the ditch, and I had to bang my door open to get out. And turns out the kid wasn't even old enough to be drinking. He was under the influence, and he T-boned me. So, had to get rid of that car, and I got $2,000 for the car that he totaled. And instead of having to, buy another car off Craigslist and have all this maintenance to upkeep on it, I thought it would be smarter to go ahead and get a newly used car or a used car. So I went ahead and got a 2010 Honda Civic from CarMax, and my car payment at the time was $279 something, and I just went ahead and started paying $300 a month just to start knocking out interest. And so during school, I had all of the bills I just told you about: rent, cable, car insurance, power bill, phone bill, which came to a total of $1,068. And then once I applied to nursing school, I was still working full-time during the day and then going to school at night so that I could upkeep my bills. So I had to add in my car payment, which was $300. And my school loan, I started paying on that while I was in school. So I was paying $50 a month on that. So grand total before and during nursing school, I was paying $1,418 a month roughly. And then now that I have graduated school, I have rent, which is $600, cable's $189, my power bill, it's usually $130 in the wintertime, and in the summertime it's $49, $50 because I just run air units because I'm not here that much. And my phone bill's $47, my car insurance is $111, car payment $300. I have my Sally Mae school loans together, that's $140, and then I have another school loan which is $255 a month. So I'm paying $1,772 per month for all of my expenses. And none of these expenses include my groceries, gas, or like anything fun or any debt that I owe, like my credit card or medical bills or my old community college, because I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck. I'm just paying my bills right now. As soon as I pay off my car and pay off both school loans, I will be saving $695 a month. Do you know what I could do with that? Like, really? So, I'm not going to lie and say that going to school isn't stressful, because it is, but it's even more stressful when you're going to school and trying to work and maintain your level of income to keep your bills from piling up. And, you know, when my ex-boyfriend decided to start paying all my bills so that I could go to day school, I was really adamant about it. Like, I was really standoffish about it, because if anything happened, you know, like if we would have broken up when he decided to do that, I would have been screwed. So it really took me a while to let him pay my bills. Like, at first I was like, no, I'm making the minimum, because I was working, once I switched to full-time day school, I was working on weekends, and like when he had things to do, I would work doubles to just make that extra income. And I was just paying like my necessities. I didn't care about cable, because I had internet at school to do my homework on. So, like, as long as my car was paid for and my car insurance and my phone bill were kept up, that's all I cared about. And rent was paid, obviously. Those were like my necessities. I had to have those. All of my wants, like cable and Starbucks and stuff like that, like, that went right out the window. I knew that I was going to be on a tight budget. And then once he decided to, you know, start paying all the bills, I was like, all right, well, this is how much I need. Like, I would tell him the first of the month I need $600 for rent, and I need $300 for my car payment. Like, I was telling him everything I needed for each bill, and he would just transfer it to me. So it kind of worked out. I got to a point during school that I was just like, you know, I have to either go to school full-time or work full-time, because it got so stressful trying to keep up with the bills, trying to keep up with going grocery shopping and buying food that would fill me. Sometimes my paychecks were so crappy that I literally could just buy ramen noodles, and I ate ramen noodles for a whole week at school. And that's kind of like the depressing part about school. Like, people that still live at home and don't have like all the big bills to pay, like rent and stuff, and they can just get money from their parents, or they work a little bit and get to keep the money that they work for and spend it on whatever they want because their car's paid for, or they're just borrowing their parents' car or something. It's a completely different level of responsibility. Like, they can eat out, they can go to Pizza Hut, they can go to Subway. Me, I'm eating ramen noodles every week because that's all I could afford after I paid all of my bills. So I'm not saying that everyone gets to a point where they have to choose school or work, but if you guys are anything like me and you get overwhelmed easily and you don't like to fall behind on your bills, like right now when I last checked my Credit Karma score, it was like 643, which isn't horrible because I've been paying on some of my debt when I can, but like, I want to be in the 700s. I want a house in the next 5 years. By the time I'm 30, dirty 30, that is my year. Like, I want to have a house, and I want at least one of my school loans to be paid off. I want my car to be paid off, definitely, because it's not going to happen this year. That was one of my resolutions for the year, is to pay my car off, but because my school loans came about since I've been out of school for 6 months and my deferment got canceled since I'm done with school, you know, I had to start paying, $255, that's $395 that I had to come up with from my paychecks at my current job that just goes right to my school loans because I have to pay them off. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you do get loans through Sallie Mae sucks. I will never get a loan from them again if I decide to go back to school, only because the reason I chose to start paying while I was in school was because I thought that it would help me out. Like, even though it was just $50, I figured, oh, $50 is better than nothing, and at least I'll knock out some of the interest, or my amount will go down. And that didn't happen at all. So when I got out of school, they were still taking the $50 out, and I called them, and I was like, I want to know why my account balance went up. because it didn't go down at all. And they were like, well, we had to add on the interest and you were paying the minimum and this and that. And I was like, but I was in school while I was paying you. Why doesn't that count? And of course they had all kinds of excuses. I'm not like a financial advisor, so I can't like go into detail about what they said, but pretty much it pissed me off because I was trying to help myself out and do the right thing by paying ahead of time. And now that I'm out of school and my payment went from $50 to $70 for each loan, so I'm paying like $140 on both, my amount still hasn't really budged because they're literally just milking me for interest and they're earning money off of me. So my plan is to tackle my car first. Once I pay off my car, that's $300 extra a month that I will be saving. And I plan on taking $150 and putting it towards one Sallie Mae loan and $150 and putting it towards the other Sallie Mae loan to knock it out and get it out of my face. Because my big loan for like $23,000, I know I'm going to be paying on that forever. That's kind of why I don't want to go back to school, because it's outrageous and it's going to take me forever to pay that thing off. So I just really want to knock out my Sallie Mae loans and I will never get loans from them again. I lived and I learned. And my dad had to co-sign for me, and I knew, you know, him co-signing me because he had such great credit, I can't miss a payment. I just want to knock it out and get it paid off. So, along with, you know, wanting a job that pays more, that's why I'm trying to stick it out for a year at my job, just to see what my pay raise will be, to see if it'll accommodate me and help me tackle my debt, or just get a second job like every other weekend and just knock out bills that I want to pay off and then quit. But I don't want to do that, especially if I get another nursing job, because I knew how hard it was working as a CNA and having not enough help and working short staffed, and I don't want to start a job and they love having my help and my extra hand, me being an extra body to help out, and then I'm like, oh well, my bills are paid off, bye. So I don't want to do that. And also, nursing can be overwhelming, so I was thinking about applying at like Five Below or Dollar Tree or somewhere just different outside of the nursing world. That way I can meet different types of people and kind of have a fun job. That way, once my debt is paid off, it's not, I don't feel bad about quitting once it's done. It's like, okay, I did my deed here, I worked, I got my paycheck and paid off my debt, and now I'm done. So I've just been thinking about that. I don't know what I want to do. I used to sell those natural skin products from Perfectly Posh, and I tried to restart my website and they wanted $160, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not in the budget, so that's not happening. But yeah, so once I pay off my car and all three of my student loans, which my third student loan, the one that I pay $255 on a month, that's going to be forever, but I'll be saving $695 a month. And my mom has been telling me that since I'm young and, you know, my credit isn't the worst, I really want a house one day, and I don't know if I want to stay where I'm at, because I am close to my parents and I like being close to them, but it's just the same thing all the time, and traffic is horrible around here. And when I go to like Carolina and see the country, and like one of my mom's friends has like 4 acres of land and it's amazing, and he has like his own little garden and llamas and animals and stuff, and he has his own chickens that lay eggs. Like, that's what I want. I want land to grow my own food and be away from people and have a pool and just be away from the city life, because I've lived in the city my whole life, and being that I live in a military area, tons of people from other states live here because they get transferred here and then they end up staying here. So we are extremely overcrowded and traffic is just horrible. Nothing against the military. I love what you guys do and I appreciate you guys fighting for my freedom, but it's just overwhelming. And the way that people drive around here, I think that's why I started having panic attacks on the interstate, because people can't drive. So living away from everybody, I think, would do me good, and just having that fresh country air, that way I can breathe. I don't know how I got on the subject of that when I'm talking about debt, but debt is inevitable. If you're going to school to try and better yourself, you're going to be in debt. Whether it's in debt for $5, in debt for $50,000. So you just have to pick your poison. It takes money to make money, obviously. And starting out, once you get your degree, whether it's in finance, you're being a lawyer, you're a doctor, nurse, whatever, you're not going to be making extreme amounts of money because you're brand new, and that's just how things go. But you just have to take every day as a learning experience and learn. And as long as you like have a vision for your life and know where you want to end up, you'll be okay. You just have to take every day one day at a time. And like now, because I still have medical bills piled up, and I owe my old community college, and I owe a patient first. So I just decided to go in my debt bucket. Yes, that's sad, but I have a debt bucket, and I pulled out a bill for like $300 some I owe one of the hospitals around here, and I sent them $15 because that's all I could afford. And even though it's just $15, that's one less payment I got to make to them eventually. So I'm just trying to tackle my debt one debt at a time. My mom is severely scared of bridges and tunnels, and she can't drive over them or in them. So I told her she might want to try and go to like therapy or even try an anxiety medication, because most of it is all in your head, and a lot of people don't realize, but when you're scared of things, you hold your breath, and that can make it worse. Like, I know when I was having my panic attacks just driving on the interstate, I was holding my breath a lot, and that's what made me feel dizzy. So I would have to pull over or get off the interstate, and as soon as I got off, I was breathing again, and I was okay. So, things like that, you really just have to work through yourself and calm yourself down. And a lot of times when you're panicking, you hyperventilate, you breathe faster, which makes everything worse. And when I started reading up on panic attacks before I told my neurologist about it, they say that you want to do deep breathing, not the heavy breathing, because that's going to make you hyperventilate even more. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when me and my mom took a trip to Carolina, we went over a huge bridge. We missed our exit, and she was driving. And we both saw the bridge, and she was like freaking out. And I was like, Mom, you need to concentrate on driving, because people were like honking at her because she slowed down because she was so scared. And I was like, you don't need to worry about the people passing you right now. You're in the far right lane. They cannot get angry at you because you're listening to the law. Slow traffic in the right lane. And the faster people can pass on your left, you need to breathe through your nose, in through your nose, out through your mouth. I opened her water, and I was like, just focus, just look straight, because there was water on both sides, and the bridge is really, really high. So like you go up on an incline, and then when you go down, you can just let go of the gas, and you just go down the hill. It's huge. It even makes me a little nervous, but she was freaking, and it was good because she did it. She went over the bridge, and then her leg was shaking really bad, but I was like, you see, it's all in your head. You just got to get over it. Aww. Yeah, panic attacks are not fun. When I started experiencing mine, it's just, unless someone experiences them, it's so hard to explain to people, but you just feel like everything around you is just like closing in on you, and you can't breathe, and you just panic. You start breathing so heavy, and I sweat. Before I got put on Lexapro, I would sweat super bad. Like, I would get hot flashes down my back, and I would be shaking and trembling, and I would be really, really hot. So I would pull off of the interstate and just pull into any parking lot. I don't care if it was McDonald's or like a tattoo shop, Taco Bell, like wherever there was a parking spot, I would pull off and just breathe. And I'm like, why were you just freaking out? Why were you panicking? Because the weird thing is, I used to love driving. Like, I used to love, sadly, street racing in my car. Like, I used to love driving fast. But I don't know what happened within the last year to make me panic like this, but they came out of nowhere, and I don't know if it was stress from work and stress from trying to pay my bills and going through my breakup and trying to love myself and work out and be healthy, or if I just legitimately got scared of driving for some reason. And the same thing with my mom's situation. Like, she used to be okay with bridges and tunnels. Like, we used to go all the time through the tunnels. We used to go over bridges, and she would be fine. And then, I don't know, up until the last 5-6 years, she will not go to anywhere like, we can't even go to the Eastern Shore because she just can't drive over the bridge or through the tunnels. And, like, my anxiety obviously comes from her because I've always been an anxious person, but as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. And, like, now I'm on medication for it. So, hopefully, eventually, I can get off of medication and just learn to talk myself down and breathe right and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, that is my budget for nursing school. I'm probably just going to keep this video up on my channel. I debate about keeping my live videos on my channel because I don't want it to be, like, weird. But, yeah. I like doing live better because I don't have to, like, I don't even know where my camera's at right now, so I don't have to find my camera. My phone's right here, and I can answer y'all's questions live, like, while I'm talking, which is awesome. So I like this feature a lot better. I think I'm going to start doing more live videos instead of sitting down and filming. I mean, even though I'm sitting down and filming right now, but it's just easier to do it this way. But I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a pretty decent weekend. I'm just tired. The beach will wear you out even though you're just laying there. And the water was pretty cold today, but it felt so good because it was like 90 degrees and humid here. So, yeah. I got burnt on my knees and, like, on the side of my butt from, like, where my bathing suit bottom is because of the way I was laying. And, like, the tops of my arms right here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that hurts. But my butt, the sides of my butt is, like, really burnt and it hurts. But I'm glad I got some color because I was so pale. So now I'm not as pale. The first sunburn of the year is always the worst. And I used sunscreen, but I missed a couple places, obviously, because my legs are kind of lobster red. But, tell us about doing care plans. Were they hard? Oh, man. So, care plans. I can do a separate video on care plans. I will try to look in all of my nursing school stuff because I kept everything from nursing school. And I will get I think I have blank copies in my clipboard from nursing school, so I'll get a blank copy, and I'll also, like, try to read off of one of my old ones. But care plans can be frustrating because, like, I know when we were doing care plans, I wanted to, like, when someone has diarrhea, you can't use diarrhea because that's a diagnosis. So you would have to use loose stools. Like, making a care plan could be kind of confusing, especially when you're first starting out. So that's a good video idea, and I'm going to go look through all my nursing stuff and see if I can find some and do a live video this week for you. But care plans were the worst. And then, like, we had to do case studies. Case studies, you get, like, a case study, we would get a diagnosis on a patient, and then we would have to do, like, 5 interventions and 5 ways that the interventions worked and stuff like that. So I'll find some case studies too, and then do a video on case studies and care plans. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Tomorrow is the start of another work week, and I hope it goes well because Mondays usually are very hectic. And I'm going to make that care plan and case study video for you guys this week.